Hello, YouTube. We should be streaming now. Okay, so if you've read the title of this stream, then you know we're going to talk about websites. But I want to give you a little bit of background and why we're actually on this topic today. So I read this article recently. Let's show you this guy. It's an article by Casey Neistat. Casey has a great YouTube channel. I will link to it below. But he wrote this article about traveling for other companies, or traveling and getting other companies to pay for it. And he says, do the work first. This is not just going to happen. This is not just going to fall into your lap, right? Create the following and the audience first. And my favorite line of this whole thing, prove your value first. Now, I skipped to the spoilers a little early there, so if you want to read the whole article, I linked to it below, and I highly recommend it. But inspired by that, I put out an email to my newsletter subscribers last week, and I had a guy. I just offered, hey, does anybody need help with anything? I take some pictures. I've set up a couple websites. I have a nutrition certification, a degree in exercise science, almost a master's in anatomy. If you need help with anything, let me know. And that still goes for right now. So if any of you watching this need help with something, just reach out. I'll make the time. I'll find the time. But I did have someone ask me about websites, and websites are really interesting. So he's starting, his little backstory is he's starting a small personal training outfit thing, and he wants to create a website. He doesn't want to make it a blog. He doesn't want to write daily content for it or anything like that. He just wants to have something that kind of shows the people that he's going to work with what he's about, like his main message. And I think that's a really good idea, especially even if you don't publish that main message. That is a really, really solid choice, because it allows you to reevaluate in a couple months to see, was that the direction that I wanted to head? Have I head that direction? Gives you good feedback, right? So the issue with part of his question is that I honestly I don't know that creating a website is right for that type of person. So I'm kind of picturing somebody who's already got a full-time gig, but is really passionate about personal training and wants to step into it. In terms of starting a website, you need to realize that you are investing your own time and your own money. And money is just an extension of time, right? It costs your time to make money. So for getting in on this new adventure, you want to mitigate risks. What kind of risks? So a risk could be spending time. A risk could be spending money. A risk could be dedicating your focus to something that isn't the main focus of where you're headed. So if you're just starting a personal training outfit thing, side hustle gig, I would highly recommend that you dedicate your time and your energy and your focus to learning about your clients, learning about how to interact with other people, reaching out to new people, and reading a little bit of science so that you can understand the basic foundations of human physiology and human anatomy. Movement in general, right? Really. So even if you were to go, there are some really simple ways to set up a website, but setting up a website costs money to host, costs money to buy a domain name. That's so if you go to lancegoyke.com, that is your domain name, and all of the stuff on lancegoyke.com is hosted on a server, which when you type in lancegoyke.com, it tells the server to send you the information that is the website. I was really lucky starting out in that I had a friend who helped me set all this up, put me on his own pre-existing server, so I didn't have to pay for that. And a domain is like $15 a year, so it's super cheap. So it was really good for me. And I wanted to write content. I wanted to make videos, and I wanted to help other people that way, in a more technological, broader reach. I've always been interested in technology, so that made sense for me. For this person, I'm not convinced that is really the way that they should go. So hosting, though the domain is cheap, hosting is like times 12, right? It's about $10-15 a month if you get something that's okay. It could be more if you want it to be. It could be a lot more. And that's still money. Like, if you don't have clients yet, it's not worth spending that money when you have a 100% free option. So you could go these like easy setup, like Wix.com or Squarespace or whatever they are. You could do those, and it would probably be fine. You might not be able to get the domain that you're looking for, but it's still going to cost a little bit of money. And until you have clients, I don't think you should spend money, because you don't have to. So you're looking for something that is quick to do and super cheap, right? Okay, so first thing, so let's say you've accepted my argument to not make a website. So what's the alternative? Well, there are three big points that I want to bring out. First one is, make sure that you have a semi-professional or super professional sounding email address. You're not looking for something like this. You're looking for, say, your name at gmail.com. And that's one that I have. From there, once you have that, that's your most important thing, right? That and your phone number, because those are how you're going to communicate with everyone. Now, there's still something to having something on the web that people can look at, especially if you're making that slogan or that call to action or whatever you stand for, if you want that to be public. And again, I think that's a really good exercise to do, whether or not you make it public. There is a free option, and you're probably already a member of this website. You can make a Facebook page. So let's talk about that. So if we go over here, if you check this out, there's our giving a lecture this weekend. Okay, if you go to the left side of the page and you scroll down to, you find create, you can click page right there. Company, organization, institute. Bam, choose a category. Fitness, maybe? Sports? Oh, company name. My fitness company. Right? I'm not going to make this, but you just click started. Click get started, and then you can get started. Right? Okay, so that's simple. And this works really well if you're not trying to create longer form content. Like, you don't want to make like, one of the things that I use my website for is to have a hub where I answer questions, so I can always refer people back to those questions. Having a Facebook page is good if you're not planning on doing that, but if you do change your mind, you don't need a website to handle that either. Or if you want to maybe communicate with all of the hundreds of thousands of clients that you're working with, because you're going to really dedicate yourself to this. That's hard to do. If you do that, I'll be very impressed, and I applaud you. If you do want to communicate with all those people, you can just gather their emails and send them one blast email. There's a nice email manager that I like to use called Mailchimp. So it keeps your emails in a list. You can type one email and it sends it out to all of them. You can have up to 5,000 people on that list for totally free forever, right? So that's a really good plan. So again, we go through them. Email address, make sure it's respectable. Make sure it's your name or company name so that people know who they're talking to. Facebook page, and maybe Mailchimp for an email list later If you do eventually want to get to the making of the websites side of the equation, you can ask me some questions, and maybe I'll make another video about that later on. But I hope this helps, and have a great week.